Hello everybody, it's Lisa and welcome to a new video. So today's video is going to be my September favorites. So basically what I have been doing the past 2 months, this is now the third month, I've kind of just been wrapping up my month, talking about a lot of my favorite things from that month, any books, movies, TV shows, any other random things that I want to mention. I talk about in these videos because it's a fun way to kind of reflect on the month. It's also a fun way to kind of bring other things into my channel that aren't just books. So yeah, I definitely do talk about books, though I actually have quite a bit of books to talk about this month. I had a great reading month this month. So yeah, let's just get into it and start talking about my favorite things from September. So I'm going to start with books. So the first book that I want to mention is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. So in this book, we're following a main character, Xiomara. I might be saying her name incorrectly. I listened to the audiobook. I'm trying to remember how it was said, Xiomara. And basically she lives with her family and her mom is very religious, and that's kind of something that she is trying to figure out in this book. She kind of doesn't know if she is just as religious as her mother wants her to be. And she also really loves poetry, so she kind of lets out a lot of her feelings of, being a teenage girl into her poetry, and it's really, really powerful. This book is written in verse, so I really liked that aspect as well. I read Clap and You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, and that one is also written in verse, and when I went into that book, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to feel about it being written in verse. I wasn't sure with a book written in verse if I would feel as impacted, but I think it being written in verse actually makes everything more impactful, and I think it's such a powerful way to tell both Clap and You Land and this story as well. Also, I'm not entirely sure, but I think that this might be Elizabeth Acevedo's debut novel, which is incredible because this book was so good. It was so powerful. I loved that it was written in verse, and I also loved that I think most people could probably connect with Xiomara or somebody in this book in some way, and I feel like even if necessarily you can't connect with everything, I still think it's such a powerful story, and I think it will leave an impression on anybody, so I definitely would recommend picking this up if you haven't already. I know I was quite late to the hype with this one, so yes, definitely would recommend if you haven't read this already. The next book that I have to mention is one that is not even just one of my new favorite books of this year, probably one of my favorite books of all time, and that is An Ember in the Ashes by Salvatore. I feel like if you've watched any of my videos from this month, you'd probably know that I've read this and I'm just completely obsessed with it. Let's see if I can describe it well. So in this book, the characters are living under the Marshall Empire, and basically if you do anything wrong, you die. But of course there are people that are trying to rebel against these people, and Leia, still don't know. Her brother is arrested and taken away for treason, and she kind of doesn't know what to do, so she ends up finding the rebels, the people who are trying to rebel against the Marshall Empire, and they promise to help find her brother and get him out of prison if she goes undercover to kind of be a servant and to spy on the Marshall Empire's academy. They have a military academy, and she is kind of going undercover to get information for the rebels while they try and help get her brother out of prison. So that's kind of the basic of information, and that's kind of all I really knew going into this book. I didn't really know much going into this book, but I'm kind of glad that that was the case because I was just so shocked at every twist, every turn. Everything was just so good. I've read a lot of good books this year. I've had a very good reading year actually, but there hasn't been that many books where I've just been so completely invested and I couldn't stop thinking about it when I wasn't reading it, and this was one of those. I honestly don't think that there have been that many books that have done that, but when I was reading this book, I literally, when I wasn't reading it, I was thinking about how excited I was to start reading it again. I was just so immersed in the world and the story, and I just am so obsessed with it. Can you tell? This has been a book that's been out for quite some time. I think it came out in 2015, so again, late to the hype. But I'm so glad I finally read it, even though it was years later and I should have picked it up sooner. I'm just so glad I read it. I'm completely obsessed with it, and now I just get to read the rest of the series, and I'm so excited. The next book I have to mention is another one that was almost close to the same feelings that I had for An Ember in the Ashes. It kind of was one that I was thinking about a little bit while I wasn't reading it, and when I was reading it, I was very invested, and that is Crier's War by Nina Varela. So in this book, in this world, there are the humans and then there are the Automa, and the Automa are people who aren't really people. They were built by people to mimic people, and how many times can I say people? So the Automa aren't real people, but they're kind of like real people. They're very close to humans, but they're not quite alive in the same sense that humans are. There's actually kind of a similar situation with An Ember in the Ashes in this book, so maybe that's why. I mean, they're not super similar, but they're kind of set up in the same way, where the Automa have kind of risen to power. They kind of overthrew all the human rulers, and now they are ruling the world, or the part of the world that we're following in this book, and there are humans that are trying to rebel against them, and we are following Ayla, who is a human who is part of this rebellion, and she ends up being the handmaiden to Crier, who is the daughter of the guy who's like ruling a majority of this world. And Crier and her father and all the people kind of ruling are Automa, and so Ayla kind of takes this handmaiden situation and tries to use it to her advantage to try and kill Crier. So I feel like in that sort of way it is similar to An Ember in the Ashes, kind of somebody being a servant in this castle or in this place where they have to get information. So it's kind of similar, but like not really. But I just thought this book was so well done. This was another one where I just kind of wanted to keep going. It was definitely a page turner. The yearning and the romance and the angst, just everything with this book and the romance was so good. I think this was the first fantasy that I've read where the female-female relationship was kind of like the main people, and I'm just so sad that it's taken me this long to read not only this book but a fantasy where a female-female relationship is kind of at the forefront. But I really enjoyed this. I'm so excited to get into the sequel, Ironheart. I think that came out in September, so I'm definitely gonna have to pick that up soon because the way this ended, I'd be stressed. So yeah, these are kind of the standouts for this month. I loved all three of these so much. If it wasn't obvious, I gave all of them 5 stars. But just in general, I had a very good reading month in September. I think I gave most books 4 or 5 stars, which I really am trying to be more critical and not just give away 4 and 5 stars as easily. But I'm just reading good books. They deserve the 4 and 5 stars. So yeah, those are kind of it for my favorite books of the month. If you're curious about more of the books that I read this month, I do have vlogs for every month in September where I think I vlogged everything that I read. So if you're curious on more of my thoughts for more books that I read, go and watch my Stranger Things readathon vlogs. But those were the standouts, so I'm now going to get into the other sections of this video. So first I want to talk about music. So again, I will have my Spotify linked below. I have it linked in all of my video descriptions, but if you want to go and see more of the music or all of the music that I've been listening to, go ahead and follow me there. Also, if you go into it looking for like my September playlist, it's probably named October just because I keep the same playlist. I just rename it depending on the month. So yeah, just look at my October playlist and that's kind of everything that I've been listening to. So I'm not gonna mention everything because there was a lot of music this month that I added to that playlist and just got obsessed with. So I'm gonna kind of try and narrow it down and not talk about everything. So the first song I want to mention is Hip by Mamamoo. I think that's how you say their name. I kind of have been slowly adding more and more K-pop songs from other groups into my playlist. I wouldn't say that I like stan any of these other groups, like BTS and TXT are kind of it for me right now, but I definitely am interested in getting into more. And Hip by Mamamoo was in a video that I watched by Alyssa Fouts, and I was just like, ooh, this is catchy. I'm gonna add it to my playlist. So that's one that has been on repeat. They also have another song called Wanna Be Myself, which I think is one of their newer songs. I think it had like just kind of come out in September. So both of those songs had been added to my playlist and I've been listening to them quite a bit. I definitely want to listen to more of Mamamoo's songs. I feel like they have a lot of good music, a lot of bops, and they also, I think, have like solo music within them, so I definitely would like to get more into them. The next song I want to mention is called In a Dream, and it's by Troye Sivan. Troye Sivan has been somebody that I've kind of like, not like really kept up with and followed throughout the years, but I do remember watching him when he was on like YouTube and made like YouTube videos, so way back in the day, and I've kind of like throughout time listened to his music a little bit, and with his music I've kind of been following him. I typically listen to like his whole album or his albums like once through, and then there's like a few select songs that kind of stand out to me that I add to my playlist. But In a Dream is so good. I think he did release like an EP or an album or something with this on it. It might be an EP, but this song is so good, and like I don't even think I would go and see Troye Sivan in concert. I mean, maybe I would if concerts can happen ever again. But if concerts can happen again, he better open his tour with In a Dream. You gotta listen to the song, you gotta listen to the intro. It would just be the perfect opening song for a concert. I literally thought that the first time I heard it, so maybe I need to see Troye Sivan in concert. Troye Sivan, if you're listening, open with In a Dream and I'll come. So the next thing I want to talk about is not actually a song, it's just an EP in general, and that is Eric Nam's The Other Side EP. It is so good. So Eric Nam has another album that I think is completely in English. I haven't listened to it like that many times, but there are some great songs on that album. But this EP is actually a mixture of Korean and English, and I don't know, it's so good. Eric Nam is just so talented. I just am so blown away by him. Anytime I see like any performances or any new song that he comes out with, I always find that I really like it. Not only is Eric Nam so talented, he's also hilarious. I feel like anytime I see a tweet by him like come up on my Twitter timeline, it always makes me laugh. But he also is so talented and he works very hard, so I love this EP. Go and stream it. It's so good. Somehow BTS still have managed to make their way into this playlist. They didn't come out with a song, but Yoongi featured on a song. So Max, who is somebody that I was obsessed with when he was on like Nickelodeon. Do y'all remember that movie Rags? It was like a Cinderella retelling, but like the genders were switched. I used to love that movie. That soundtrack is still on my phone. Anyway, he now has like a music career and has continued, and he just came out with a new album, and the song Blueberry Eyes on the album features Yoongi from BTS. It is excellent. I actually really want to listen to the full album. I have heard some songs from the album and I really like them. I think Max is also super talented, so I definitely want to listen to the rest of the album, but this song in particular obviously stood out to me. Yoongi, BTS. I don't know what to say other than it's BTS. The song itself is so cute. It's kind of funny. Max is singing about like his wife and his relationship with his wife, and then Yoongi comes in and he's talking about ARMY and like the fans and that relationship, and it makes me laugh, but it also makes me cry because that's just so cute. Also, the music video is really cute. Obviously Yoongi couldn't come from Korea to wherever they were filming this music video because pandemic, but at one point they do like cut to a cat and it's like a whole thing. Yoongi, a cat. It's hard to explain if you don't know, but Max knows, and he did it. So it was like homage to Yoongi in the video. It also was really cool because him and his wife are in the music video, and Max and his wife ended up learning the Korean part of Yoongi's rap, and they like lip sync it, and it's just really cool, and it shows how much they like appreciate Yoongi, and Max always is appreciating Yoongi, and I feel like that mutual respect is there, so we love to see it. Stream Blueberry Eyes. Thank you. Okay, so I have one last song that I want to mention, and that is Day and Night by Day 6. This was another song that was mentioned in an Alyssa Fouts video. Maybe Alyssa Fouts vlog should be mentioned in this favorites video this month, but I was watching one of her videos and she mentioned that this was like her favorite song off of this album, or their newest album, and for some reason I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna listen to it, and I did, and I'm so glad I did because I'm obsessed with it. It's just so catchy, and it's just one of those songs that like lifts my mood when I hear it. I don't actually remember what the actual song is about, but it's great. It makes me feel happy and I just really enjoy it. So that's definitely been a favorite. That's one that has been on repeat quite a bit since I've added it to my playlist. I've just been listening to it non-stop, so I had to mention that. But yeah, I think that that's kind of the last song I want to mention. If you want the full overview of every song that I've been listening to this month, again, my Spotify is linked below. I think that that is it for music, so I'm going to start talking about a TV show or a season of a TV show that I watched in September. I didn't watch any movies or any other TV shows. I actually watched one episode of a new TV show, but I'm not going to mention that, so I'm just going to mention season 2 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I started Avatar: The Last Airbender like months ago, like April, May? I don't know, whenever it came to Netflix, I kind of started it around that time. It's been a few months, and I just finished season 2 this month, and it was so good. I feel like it even was an improvement from season 1, and I've now started season 3, and I'm already enjoying it. I haven't gotten that far. I think I've only watched like 2 or 3 episodes of season 3, but I'm kind of slowly making my way through. I kind of don't want it to end, but it is really good. I'm really enjoying it. And I stand by my initial statement with this show. I tweeted this like 10 minutes into the first episode when I started it months ago, but I still want an Appa stuffed animal. I still want one. But yeah, like I said, that was kind of the only like TV show, movie, anything like that I watched this month. So that's kind of it for that type of stuff. I think now I'm going to just move into the more miscellaneous things. So the first thing I want to mention is actually my haircut. I got my haircut like a couple of weeks ago, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm so happy I finally cut my hair. My hair grew quite a bit this past year. It was already sort of long at the beginning of the year, but it grew a lot. And obviously, like, we're in the middle of a pandemic, so getting my hair cut wasn't really a priority, even though my sister is the one that does my hair. It still wasn't something that I was thinking about, so I just kind of let it grow out. And I mean, I'm not mad that I did it because I did think the long hair was fun. I didn't mind the way it looked. I did like having long hair, but I was ready for a change. I was ready for a lot of the dead ends to be cut off, and I figured my hair grows so fast that if I cut it now and I want it long again, by this time next year it won't be quite as long, but it would probably be like maybe like around here, so I'm not too concerned if I want to grow it out again. But I'm really liking it. I'm actually thinking I might want to get like a little bit more chopped off, like maybe like another inch, but we'll see what ends up happening. But I'm really happy with it. I'm really liking the length on me, and yeah, I'm so glad I don't have hair getting stuck in everything and getting in my way anymore. So I think I only have like one last thing to mention, and it's something that I can't actually show you right now, but I'll insert a clip, and that is my skincare fridge. What a bougie sentence. I feel kind of bougie having a skincare fridge, like. So my sister got me a skincare fridge, I think for Christmas this past year, and I just finally set it up this month, but I'm so glad I did. I'm kind of sad I waited this long because I'm really loving it, but it's okay. I finally did it. So right now all I really have in there is some cleansers and some moisturizers as well as some sheet masks. I might put in like a normal mask that you like put on your face in there because I bet that would also feel really nice. I don't know if there's like any benefits really to using skincare that's been in a fridge other than it feels nice, but that's fine. As long as it feels nice on my skin, that's really all that matters. It's been really nice putting on moisturizer that's nice and cool at night. I don't know, especially also in the morning too, when I'm cleansing and moisturizing in the morning. It's very refreshing. It definitely helps wake me up, so I've been enjoying that as well. Also having my sheet masks in there as well, it's been very cooling and very relaxing, and I definitely have been doing a bit more sheet masks than normal because of that. So yeah, I've been really enjoying my skincare fridge. Sad it took me 9 months to set it up, but now that it's set up, I've been really enjoying it. Having the nice cool skincare has been quite nice. So I think that is going to wrap up this video. So let me know down below in the comments any new favorites that you have from this month, any new books, music, TV shows, anything random. I would love to know. But don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you have not already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.